Perhaps no other object symbolizes Chamorro identity more than the Latte, Pulan, and in this video we will explore the origins and development of the Latte. Latte or Latte stones generally consist of two elements, stone pillars known as haligi and capitals known as tassa, the iconic cup-shaped stones on top of the haligi. It is important to note that Latte stones are never in isolation. They are always arranged in paired rows. The primary function of Latte is to support house structures. The construction of Latte stones is believed to have begun around 1000 CE and continued until the Spanish conquest of the Marianas by 1700 CE. Several theories explain the origins and developments of Latte. One prominent theory, advanced in a 2012 article by Latte and colleagues, proposes that the Latte may be viewed as a combination of architectural concepts found throughout island Southeast Asia. Why island Southeast Asia? Genetic research has shown that the Chamorros are genetically linked to island Southeast Asia, specifically the Philippines and the islands of Sulawesi and Sumba, among other places in Indonesia. The genetic research is in agreement with some interpretations of archaeological and linguistic evidence. These areas form a north-south axis positioned near 120 degrees east longitude, facilitating an accessible route to the Pacific. From this perspective, the Chamorros developed the Latte as an optimization of several island Southeast Asian design elements, adapting to the environmental challenges of the Marianas, such as heavy rainfall, frequent seismic activity, high winds from tropical storms and typhoons, high temperatures, and high humidity. To appreciate this theory, it is essential to examine architectural concepts such as traditional pile structures and megaliths in island Southeast Asia, which may be linked to Latte. Starting with the Philippines, the Ifugao region in northern Luzon is renowned for its rice terraces. However, the architectural design of Ifugao houses, known as Bale, is of particular interest due to its resemblance to Latte structures. The Bale is a wooden house elevated on a wooden post called haligi. Yes, the same word as the Chamorro word haligi to refer to the stone pillars of Latte. The upper portion of the wooden haligi features a circular wooden disc that acts as a rat guard. The wooden haligi are similar in function and design to the Latte of the Marianas, supporting house structures and preventing rats from climbing up. The word haligi, referring to house post, links linguistically to Proto-Malayo-Polynesian and Proto-Austronesian, indicating a shared linguistic connection between the Philippines and the Marianas. While the Ifugao haligi and the Marianas Latte haligi differ in materials, wood and stone respectively, and in construction, with the Ifugao haligi being a single piece and the Marianas haligi and tassa being separate elements, their functional similarities are striking. Moving to Indonesia, Sumba, an island in eastern Indonesia, has a long-standing tradition of constructing megalithic stone tombs. These tombs, built using large limestone slabs supported by stone columns, exhibit structural, linguistic, and cultural similarities to Latte. These stone tombs are called Rati in the local dialect of Anakalang. In Tarung Waikabumbak, the equivalent word is Rate, an old term referring to a space where the dead are buried, or a place for the dead. Rati and Rate are pronounced very similarly to the Chamorro word Latte. Additionally, the ancestral house called Uma in Sumba sounds similar to the Chamorro word Guma. In the Tanah Toraja area of Sulawesi, Indonesia, there are megalithic stones called Rante, connected to funerals. These standing stones serve as memorials to the deceased and may be inhabited by the spirits of the dead. The spatial arrangement and cultural significance of these Rante stones highlight a cultural similarity to the connection between megalithic traditions in Sulawesi and Latte in the Marianas. Examining pile structures and megalithic traditions in Ifugao, Sumba, and Sulawesi reveals significant cultural and linguistic connections to the Latte in the Marianas. The two-part elements of the Latte may be an adapted civil engineering design to absorb shocks from earth tremors and earthquakes, similar to the two-part construction of megalithic stone tombs called Rati in Sumba. The use of stone may be directly linked to several adaptive responses such as weight, durability, permanence, symbolic power, prestige, territorial marking, and aesthetics. Stone as a durable material was especially effective for mitigating the strong winds caused by typhoons and tremors during seismic activities, possibly connected to the use of stone for megaliths in Sumba and Sulawesi. The general shape of the latte may be related to the hiligi of Ifugao, with the tassa serving to guard against the entry of rodents like rats, similar to the top parts of the hiligi of Ifugao and other pile house traditions throughout island Southeast Asia. The raised floor of the latte may be connected to the broader island Southeast Asia pile-built architectural tradition. Finally, latte may have a burial association aspect, linked to practices in Sumba. Linguistic similarities such as the term haligi, rati, rate, and uma further emphasize the possible interconnectedness of these regions with the Marianas. The connection is further supported by several genetic studies. A genetic study by Villar and colleagues suggested that the unique B4 genetic lineage of Chamorros may have arrived in a separate migration from island Southeast Asia, along with Latte to the Marianas around 1000 CE. This fits the timeline of the first appearance of Latte in the Marianas and aligns with the period of significant movement of peoples throughout the Pacific, such as the Polynesians settling East Polynesia around 1000 CE. The Marianas was likely not an isolated archipelago, but may have had extensive overseas contact, especially with island Southeast Asia. In conclusion, the development and origins of Latte may be deeply rooted in the cultural and architectural traditions of island Southeast Asia. The shared practices of constructing pile structures and megalithic monuments, along with linguistic similarities across the Philippines, Sulawesi, Sumba, and the Marianas, illustrate the potential interconnectedness of these regions. Understanding these connections provides valuable insights into the genetic and cultural heritage of the Chamorro people and the historical developments of latte stones. If you liked and enjoyed the video, consider supporting me on Patreon so I can continue to produce more Pacific Studies content. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, follow me on social media at PulanSpeaks, and a special Seduce Masi to Patreon supporters Puti'on, Dylan Sablan, and Jesse Babauta. Seduce Masi for watching. Guahusi Pulan, and Pulan has spoken. Esta